Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the talk by Division of Integrative System and Design. My name is Winnie Leung. I'm an associate professor in engineering education at HKUST and also one of the founding faculty with the department from 2018. Today, I'm actually going to introduce our bachelor degree program, Bachelor of Science in Innovation, Design, and Technology. This program, we have been running it for over 5 years. And there's been some new development and new exciting changes that we want to, through this deck, introduce to you. So without further ado, I want to just first bring your attention to two keywords in this front slide, which is design and technology in entrepreneurial future. So when you walk around our campus today, I assume you see a lot what is cool, exciting, innovative. But at the same time, our university is also very famous for kind of fostering entrepreneurship. We have a lot of famous founders coming from our university, and towards the end of this slide, I want to introduce to you how our program actually we should bridge the students towards that exciting future. So this is what inspired the program 5 years ago. We realized that innovation doesn't just come from one disciplinary knowledge. With all the wicked problem, very multidisciplinary nature in the world, from climate change to aging to now, we went through a pandemic. All these type of challenges take more than one single innovation to deal with. And in order to come up with new ideas to solve real-world problems, we believe that the next generation innovators need more than one disciplinary knowledge and also is trained accordingly. So this is where design comes in. We don't have time to play this particular video. If you wish to watch it afterwards, you can scan this QR code. But this is a profile video that we made of our 4 recent graduates. Their names will appear again towards the end of the deck, and I want to tell you about their journey and their story in ISD and having finished the program over time. But this slide is trying to summarize who we're looking for and who we're trying to build. Right? They need to have independent thinking, analytical mindsets. Empathy to others is an interesting bullet point there, but you'll find in some of the slides later to show that why design, the fundamental design is so much so about human-centeredness and understanding from the user's point of view and context-based. Global vision, identifying problem, and turning ideas into practical solution. For those who have gone through our lab tour, if you haven't, please do sign up and maybe just drop by. You'll see a lot of very practical solutions. We're not really talking about conceptual things or theoretical things that could take years in the lab to be realized. A lot of our project work and a lot of our students' innovation actually is very deployable and it's built around realistic scenario. Finally, is the point I made about multidisciplinary knowledge and human-centeredness. So those two are, I would say, skills and mindset and also knowledge base that built over time. We wish that for over 4 years we can equip students with knowledge and skills as well as training their mindset, which is to me is a muscle. So a lot of you have heard of design thinking, which has been a buzzword in the past few years. But in our program, we don't look at it as a single block of knowledge. We look at it as a way of thinking about things and approaching problems, which needs to be practiced over time to train the muscle of design thinking. As I mentioned, we are the actually very young program. We have 5 years under our belt. And something we're very proud of is that we're the very first experiential learning program in Hong Kong, undergrad program in Hong Kong. The word experiential means, you can think of an experiment, experiencing. And so what the students are doing in our program is learning through doing, learning through experiencing and experimenting. So this word is very important to us because we feel that that's one of the most effective way to learn deeply and create lifelong and long-term understanding. We launched in 2018 with pilot, and we actually maintain a very low student-faculty ratio. I believe the next slide actually shows our faculty, and it's pretty impressive, the number. And then all our faculty is also very interdisciplinary in nature. So hopefully the backbone of our department actually allow our students to grow There's a few keywords here. Two I will bring up again. One is project-based learning. It will come back in the slide about year-long project. And then also individualized pathway and learner-centric pedagogy. Because if you think about it, as an innovator, I like to use the kind of description of like you can be a jack of all trades, and the second line is not very good, master of none. But in our mind, the jack of all trades is someone who can understand its system-wide view of what needs to be done. He or she might not be, the most amazing electrical engineer or the best programmer in the world, but being able to see the big picture and maybe project manage the right things to do at the right time is what we hope our IDT student in the future can achieve. On the right, there's some other keywords, and some I've already mentioned, but hands-on prototyping is a big one. You'll see a lot of our project sample, what you see in the lab tour, are very tangible. It's not just a piece of code on a computer screen, nor some simulation. They are highly conceptualizable, visualizable ideas. And the last one here is teamwork, and you'll see repeatedly many examples of that. So within our division, we actually have a lot of initiative beyond IDT. IDT is only one of the multiple programs we run. In this slide, I kind of bolded innovation and entrepreneurship, which is the key takeaway I want you to have from my talk. So you can see that from very young, we actually, from just our bachelor program, we promote innovation. But within the university, we also have an entrepreneurship minor, which is managed by our division, as well as the design minor. On the left, it's other activities that from the division we run that contribute to our core program. And on the right is actually some master level program that in the future, maybe you and the students will consider exploring, including a master in philosophy towards entrepreneurship and a master in science towards technology leadership entrepreneurship. So I mentioned earlier, our student-faculty ratio is very low, meaning each faculty is only talking about facing 10 to 12 students on average. The reason for that, if you think about it, is that our students that comes in are very diverse. So we need a diverse group of faculty to support them to begin with. And then the ideas are also very rich and creative. So we cannot expect I myself am a mechatronic person. I cannot imagine myself to be able to serve all the students' needs. So we have, here over 20 faculty with all the bulleted backgrounds here, covering from the basic electronic, mechatronic, computer science, computer engineering, to something that is very crucial to productization. For example, material, ergonomics, human-centered study, to more industry-specific area like, green infrastructure, textile and fashion, sustainability, etc. So our background is very diverse, and building this team took a long time. It took us, 5 or 6 years to build the right team. And I would say one unique thing about this group of faculty is that aside from being strong in research, they are even, they still remain very strong as educator. I myself is a teaching faculty here, so my job is 50-50. I spend time in research as well as teaching. And so I would say it's very unique. I see it's very unique in that when we build IDT, the idea is to have faculty that is not only good at the lab and doing research and publishing paper, they're equally good at engaging students, inspiring students, and actually teaching them. So here are some examples, some pictures you'll see in the lab tour. Again, very tangible. You can almost imagine what the thing does, right? When you see the form, when you see some description. And at the bottom, there's some hashtag about what is the design goal for each of these projects. You'll also see like the labeling about ISDN, which course it comes from, and a lot of them come from final year project. Some of them actually come from earlier cornerstone project, which I'll describe a little bit more. This slide is trying to explain how ideas can be realized. We don't stop at concepts. We actually make the student create it, materialize it, and actually make it a tangible solution. So let me tell you a little bit about the entire journey that IDT student would enjoy. So to begin with, over the years, we actually built a very strong foundation. And by strong foundation, you need to think of equipping the student both with design and technology ability and skills and knowledge. So it's actually demanding, if you think about it. I mean, if you want to be a technologist, I can go study a very traditional engineering degree. I'm very good at one thing, right? But if I want to build a well-rounded person and student, I need to equip him or her with more elements and also mindset training, etc. So we're actually trying to kill two birds with one stone. So with our foundation years of year 1 and 2, you can see we want to build them towards both being trained in the design arena as well as developing the technology competency. As they advance to higher year of study, then they will actually slowly narrow down their technical interests. Maybe also we include design as one of the potential specialty. So if a particular student really want to only focus on design, not technology, that's also a pathway for that. And then for the final year, we actually encourage some of the final year projects to phase towards entrepreneurship. So here's some very short snapshot of what the courses look like, some outputs. Again, you will see this in the lab tour. In our fundamental design courses, we have these at least 5 listed course titles, and these are some of the example outputs. One thing I would say is I went to did my bachelor degree in the late 90s. So I graduated year 2000, and back in my day, engineering sketching by hand was still part of the curriculum, and I was actually quite shocked and disappointed that over the years, engineering education has kind of only moved directly to digital modeling, right? And that actually, to me, it kind of skipped a huge step, because when you draw and when you visualize with eyes and hands, it's a very different story from looking on a 2D screen. So we actually kind of, in a sense, bringing this back in IDT. Students actually learn how to sketch from a real graphic designer, and then look at, you look at this one on the right, it's not very sophisticated, but it's actually training a lot of conceptualization muscles in terms of 3D perspective. And these students will still learn CAD, will still learn SolidWorks, will still learn Rhinos, but their starting point of understanding the software would be very different. So the other thing that we want to equip the students with are the technical competencies. So you might ask, like, as a freshman, you don't know anything, you don't have any technical inclination. What am I going to do to figure out what I love and what I like to do in a project team? So through these courses, we hope the students uncover their passion and what their strengths are. We introduce courses that the name itself, you can tell they're already cross-disciplinary. They're not like circuit design or programming 101 or mechanics and materials. The names themselves already tell you that they're marrying more than one discipline in the course. So we actually created this course to help the student quickly pick up cross-disciplinary knowledge from IoT, which is CS plus electronics, to mechatronics, mechanical electronics. Material shape and design is mechanical design and kind of traditional form design, industrial design. And programming for HCI is a mixture of programming and also interaction design. So all these courses, every student has to take them. Once they finish, they'll actually start understanding what they're good at and what they would like to pursue as a further technical competency. Now we'll go to the gem of our program. The gem of program, I would say, is this year-long project. So many of you understand the concept of final year project, right? Final year project exists in every program pretty much around the world for traditional kind of maybe I could say engineering program. So not the problem, but the point of final year project for most programs is to allow the student to combine the 3 or 4 years of knowledge and learning into this final showcase. You know, what they can do to integrate and impress people with. For us, we're doing a little bit upside down, and there's a reason for it. So final year project for us was brought really early. We start this with year 2. And what we're trying to achieve is not asking them to showcase what they know, showcase what they learned, because they've only taken our program for 1 year. We're actually using these projects as a vehicle for them to learn. Why do I say that? It's because through these projects, they actually have to understand the system in a, again, holistic view, understand what they need to learn to contribute to it. So their motivation to learn something in depth is much stronger. So imagine I think a lot of the complaints that we get from traditional education is that students might not even know why they're learning something, right? A lot of times they learn something for 2-3 years, they're like, why am I taking this course? Why am I taking that course? And then hopefully, finger crossed, they come to the realization in 4th year that they eureka, oh, that's how you apply and that's how it comes together. For us, we want to do this very differently. We want to start with the problem. We want to start with the end rather than the means. And we go, hey, we want to solve this particular problem. What elements do we need to build towards it? You don't know how to do the elements yet. Now we're going to help you, equip you to do that. So it's called problem-based, context-based education. And we found it very successful in motivating a student, the right way of motivating a student to learn. So these are some of the kind of goals for each year. But I would say the format is similar, but what the students come out with it each year is quite different. So to summarize a bit, this is kind of the roadmap. And there was one slide where I talked about we're the first experiential program in Hong Kong. The keywords on the right, it's all covered by these yellow boxes. So we think we're doing a good job in kind of encompassing all the learning goals that this program wants to offer to our students. So on the very right, which is what I'm going to lead to next, a lot of you are concerned about what is the career prospects of this program. And so far, we've had successfully nurtured researchers, technologists, design entrepreneurs, and I'm going to give you a few examples. Before that, again, if you haven't done the lab tour, I highly encourage it. It's very fun. So on the bottom right, it's called the Design Studio. It's room 2590. Brian, our lecturer for graphic design, is there all day. So you could go and talk to him. And it's a very open area, looks like a design school studio. And then today, right outside in that little courtyard with the window, we're also showcasing some robotic fish and some year-long projects from the past. On the top left kind of photos, left side photos, this is our makerspace. A lot of universities have makerspace now. It's not something super new, but this makerspace is only reserved for the student within our division. So each of the table, this big long table you see, it belongs to one project team of 4 or 5 people, and they kind of live and breathe there the whole year, full semester. It's very chaotic most of the time, but it's also a lot of, it's what how makerspace excites students, right? They really feel like that's their ownership of the project and getting their hands dirty and learning by doing. So these are some of the companies that our students have successfully got placement from after graduation. It's not an exhaustive list. I think this list is probably a year or 2 old already. But you can see they have a variety. The top row you can see is actually university name, and it's because a good proportion of students actually ended up doing postgraduate studies. And there's one profile example later. So let me talk very briefly about these 4 examples that we featured in that video. Josephine studying DGS, our second cohort student. And you can see from this picture, I want to point out that when she was in high school, she actually did a lot of robotics competition. And when she joined us, I think she's one of the more well-rounded students. Not the best communicator, but she found her way through our program, and actually ended up working for Disney. And she has a really great story within that video early on about programming the pyrotechnique. You guys all been to Disney, they have the jungle ship or jungle tour that has fire spitting out from the water. So she worked on the pyrotechnic control system of that ride. Gordon, I think 1 year later after the Josephine, and now he works as a technical consultant for IBM. Also both of them came through JUPAS. Yeah. Martin is a mainland student through Gaokao. So he's one of the examples that went on further study. He has now finished his master in Politecnico di Milano, which is a very well-known design engineering university in the world, in Italy. So there's a few pictures. The one on the right is actually his entrepreneurial efforts. His final year project is actually designing a product that's for carbon dioxide detection. So the project is very interesting. You can learn more from reading the poster later. But the one really good thing I appreciate of the project is that they actually spend time to understand what the problem at hand is. You know, you can think carbon dioxide buildup could come from many sources, or we could solve by removing carbon or doing all sorts of different solutions. But after an in-depth investigation, their team actually realized that this problem roots from people not understanding, not being aware of how bad for health carbon dioxide buildup could be. So instead of creating an engineering device that removes carbon, they actually went with the root cause problem, which is educating people about the carbon dioxide kind of density of a room. So in this room, for example, if we sit any longer, if we sit an hour, the science tells us that we'll all fall asleep, and then we'll be worse learner over time. So this little dongles and device, he actually mass produced it, found manufacturer to make it, and then launched a different trade show. On the top right is a picture of a trade show. Marcia, you saw in the video when you came in to sit down. She's international student, not JUPAS, not Gaokao. Actually, before I talk about her, I want to describe why there's a picture of some other person on the left. So the last 3 slides on my deck, I want to talk about how we link to entrepreneurship. So I told you at the beginning that UST has, we're very proud. We have fostered a lot of amazing startups. One of them is by Jeff Chen. He's the CEO of Lumos. You might also see them in the visitor center. It's a bike helmet that allows you to signal signal your left turn and right turn with an IoT device. This slide, I would call it the land solution, and then we have a water solution and air solution later. So Marcia now works for Lala Move. She, through the program, she's very active. She started a sustainability club called Repair Club within IDT, where on the weekend she helps repair devices, electronics of other friends and on campus. So someone who's very self-motivated, that's one of the qualities that I would list later on as what we're looking for. So this slide is air. You guys all know the gentleman bottom left corner? Or you know what's sitting in front of him? Right? So it's the DJI drone. He's the founder of DJI, Fan Guang. And so he's also a graduate of UST. All these people I listed as graduates of UST. He's a big advocate. I named this slide advocates for IST. He's the one who actually came to us and say, the future engineers I want to hire are people that your program is training. Because they are the one that can actually help me innovate the next innovation. So I want to play a video. This is not Wang Tao's work. This is actually a very recent final year project work from our current, just graduated cohort. Sorry, the audio is very low. So you need to read the subtitle.
款無人機無需要人手操控，透過人工智能技術能夠自行繞過障礙物。研究團隊認為無人機可以用於山嶺之間穿梭，執行緊急救援任務，包括對行山時候被。
This is Jimmy, one of our recent graduates. So this is a final year project. Not alone. Jimmy worked with 4 other students. And they are actually going to try to turn this into an entrepreneurship project. They got some funding from Science Park, and within the university, we also have funding and grants for them to pursue this into an entrepreneur project. Last one, water, right? So we did land, Lala Move, and Lumos, air, DJI, and this rescue from UAV. And then last one is water. So UST is surrounded by water, obvious. So I hope you do appreciate the environment that we're in. We're actually very, we devote a lot of resources in marine tech research. One of the startups that came out from our university is called ePropulsion. It's a little bit hard to see, but what they build as a product is an outboard motor that is electric. So I like to explain it as Tesla for boating, right? So that's Danny Tao. He's just been elected to be top 40 under 40. I think, in the region, the top 40 young entrepreneurs under the age of 40. And that leads to another ISD story. Fiona, the left, second to the left, on this center picture, she is a Year 3 IDT student at the moment. And during the past summer, she actually won the prize in innovation camp that innovated a device that allow for detection drowning through AI voice choking sound detection. So very recently we got, again, IP kind of interview by KTO on campus knowledge transfer office to try to file a patent for this algorithm. So I think the point I'm trying to make is a lot of our training, our education actually wish a student to bring it towards real application and hopefully for larger commercialization, productization opportunity. So final 2 slides. Let's draw, we welcome all applications. If you find yourself to be self-motivated, inquisitive, to be an active learner and excited about making things, in general, very passionate about technology, wishing to, be innovating and working with teams and imagining a new future, we welcome you to apply to us. This is a JUPAS formula, and I also want to invite you to scan the QR code, leave your contact information with us. We'll be running something called IDT Experience Day, which we invite the student to come in for a day, 10 to 4 kind of thing, and just run through some taster lecture, and also some hands-on fun with our faculty and students to experience what it feels like as a day of IDT students. And this is the way to keep in touch with us. So with that, I think that's the end of my program talk, and I'm going to invite 3 questions. And that apparently I can give out these much coveted plush toys for every question asked. So can I invite some? Go ahead, yeah.
It's very interesting to have this drone market and market around the world. So can you name some other examples of research results or design from your lab, from your faculty that's marketable and outside we can purchase?
Sure, yeah, so I skip actually a lot of slides. I would say the drone one is probably, if you think of it, it's a to-be opportunity, right? You probably sell it to the government or sell it to businesses. We also have some to C, like to consumer ready technology. I would highlight the health tech component. We have a lot of professors who's in the health tech, wearable, sensing, and keeping track of your biometric in order to give the right recommendation. So we have a few, upcoming solution for aging. kind of detecting the elderly living environments, and also on wearables. So that's one example.
So is there any company that is spin-off from the faculty?
So our faculty actually, some of us own company, like runs our own small company. One is like, one of us actually owns an architecture engineering company. I myself own an professional audio-visual company. So to be honest, a lot of faculty are ourselves startup entrepreneurs. Yeah. So the university encourages it too. So that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another question? Yes. So entrepreneurship, I think it's one of the path. Still, like in terms of entrepreneurs, I would say we're only 1/5 or a quarter of our students would want to pursue that at the moment. I just want to highlight it because I'm an entrepreneur and I also do a lot of entrepreneurship programs. That's why to me, entrepreneurship is not like you have to be the next billionaire. It's actually a journey that will help you grow as engineer. Even if you're an engineer, entrepreneurship will still help you grow as engineer. To answer your first question, it's very engineering heavy. We actually, this story you might not know, we actually moved from school engineering 2 years ago to our current school, which is Academy of Interdisciplinary Studies. And there's a very strong reason for it. A lot of the professors in that big picture of 20 of us, a lot of us are engineers. But we know that, just pushing engineering knowledge to a student is not sufficient. So maybe it's not the clearest answer. I would say the innovations need to stem from technology still. But in order for you to know what to apply or what to do, we first have to equip you with all the design elements. So I would say later on in the second half of year 2 or year 3, when you start understanding yourself more, the engineering component will become more stronger in our education, in our program, will allow you to take, actually beyond IST courses, you can also take other engineering courses on campus. So this allows you to build, if you want to become an engineer, build a strong foundation. If you don't, if you want to become a more designer, that's also a pathway for that.
Maybe about how to apply your engineering skill.
I would repeat what I said. It's more about problem-based solution. Like imagine the beauty is like if you're the perfect IDT student, I would hope that they will grow these two at the same time. Your engineering ability and your ability to understand the problem and apply the right solution at the same time. Yeah. Okay. One last question? Yes. You can shout, or do you want to shout, or you want a mic?
Yeah, sure. Will this program have some an interview, interviews before entering?
Yeah. So you can see from the slide, we actually have more than one component. So because we're running a fairly small program, our cohort size is about 40 students. So we can actually allow time to get to know each candidate quite well. So you can see, so the second item is the portfolio. It sounds very scary, but it's actually just like, summarize what you've done, some interesting things you've done in your high school. So from that, we'll kind of decide if you might be a good fit. And then together, actually even because your DSD score won't come out until the summer, right? So we actually based on mostly your DTP and your school academic results to decide if we could offer you an interview opportunity. And the interview opportunity is a way, later, this is something I can talk about later on. It's not to judge you or to evaluate you. It's really for both of us, our program, and you to understand if you're a good fit. It's a small program, everyone knows each other. You'll see all the student helper here, they're like, they kind of almost sick of each other because they spend so much time with each other. So we're a little family. So to join a little family, it always is almost often about fit. So we want to ensure about the fit, and that's why we have a lengthier process. But that's also kind of by design, I think. Okay. Thank you very much for everybody's attendance, and feel free to come and check us out.